Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of January 23rd through the 29th of 2017. Wow, we're more than halfway through the first month already. Let's talk about what's going on, because this is the week that I've been waiting for, to be honest with you. On the 27th, we have our annual new moon in Aquarius, okay? Also on the same day, Mercury finally leaves shadow. So I think we're finally done with that whole 2016 thing. You know how I've been saying all the thinking and the planning and the plotting that you've been doing in the last few weeks, that it really kind of needed to hold off until, the 27th, 28th, more so the 28th, because on the 28th, Mars will enter Aries, and that is a much better place for Mars to be. That is our action planet, and it's the best time. New moon, no Mercury shadow, Mars in Aries. And also of note, when we do next week's, not this week, all right, Venus will be entering shadow next week. So your two best days, I think, for the coming months are really January 28th and 29th. You're Mercury shadow free, you're Venus shadow free. You have the power of the new moon on your side, and it's kind of like saying Happy New Year as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so let's see how this all plays out in the cards. Remember going back a while, and this is for many of you, I remember seeing it, especially when I do those zodiac monthlies on Patreon, because they give an extra layer to the guidance, okay? And I was noticing with the signs that there are so many out there who have like this one issue that has them walking on eggshells. In other words, where in your life have you had to bite your tongue, bide your time, for good timing to do something? And this is part of what the plan is about. Okay, getting the plan for your life together, getting the details together. And this is something that you need to go over with a fine-tooth comb. And this is why I've been saying, like when you get to the moon, then it will be time to really, bust out and go forward. So there's a great deal of, I want to say, behind-the-scenes work that's been taking place. It's not that you haven't done anything outwardly that people can't see, but certain areas where, like I said, walking on eggshells. So you're just like, okay, let me take care of this, and this. It helps put you in a better spot for what it is you're trying to do. And that's important to remember. Okay, at the new moon, there's some big actual, I want to say, movement with your decisions. Remember back at the full moon, we were talking about being at a crossroads, trying to decide what to do, but the timing wasn't right quite yet. This week, before the week is over, you're going to feel like you have those facts and figures together, and you're going to take some sort of step in the right direction, to separate yourself. This is interesting, okay, because it's a very creative new beginning, whatever this plan is about, but it separates you from that thing that has tried your patience. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but it puts you in a position to move toward that goal, where you can recover from this, because it has just been, whatever it is, and it's like it drove you crazy. So you're in the birth of a new cycle type of thing. All right, emotionally, you're, I want to say, keeping it together. This is, I want to explain it this way. If this involves another individual who is the reason that you feel like you're walking on eggshells, I don't think you show it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not this verbal lashing. If there were anything that precipitated this, it would be from them, not from you. You have, effectively turned the other cheek. And that's a good thing. because it puts you in the direction that you need to be, where you can finally, I want to say it's like an answer to your prayers, where you can open a very specific door. And we've been talking about this transition that you've been in since, I think it was the full moon in October, okay? And I kept saying it's going to last up until like about June, sometime in June. I kind of feel that after May 22nd is when you kind of come into that clearing where you see that you're getting somewhere. Okay, so keep that in mind. One of the key things about this reading is that there is patience involved. Having the plan, working on the plan, and making things happen. Obviously there's speed bumps and things that come up, but there's so much success associated with this. And what I also see here for you is a very careful, and I mean careful, review of your life and tremendous thought being given to what you wish to create. What I truly like, so many of you have been with me for a really, really long time. And what I like here is that I see that you are finally seeing it. You are finally getting it. That all those times when you felt down and out and you thought there were no solutions and you thought there would be no progress, now you're seeing progress. And there is a form of, I want to say, excitement in a sense around the possibilities. So while you know that whatever you're deciding and putting into motion at this time, you realize it's going to take a few months to do everything that's on that list, because this is a detailed transition that you're working on. And I see here nothing but success. Trust in the universe, in the safety of the journey, like knowing that what you're doing, what you are about to do, is the right thing. This is wonderful. I think a lot of you will start to see where some of the changes have been to your benefit. Sometime in March, April, okay? Maybe during Venus retrograde. And keep that in mind, but it's really taking you to June, which is kind of like the next step off point to the new life. That new life is coming, all right? Keep that in mind. Saturn's always there in the background, teaching you lessons. Remember that. Currently, it's still in Sagittarius, okay? And depending upon who you are, what sign you are, where it's at, whatever, the lessons are different. But it's going to allow you to keep the things that are valuable, the things that are the resources that you need in order to do the job effectively. You are achieving tremendous wisdom. And in being honest with yourself, there is so much clarity that comes to you, okay? Being more grounded, feeling more secure, and really stepping up with your vision. This is the time to be doing it, this week at the new moon, specifically the 28th, the 29th. It does fall on a weekend. Doesn't matter. There's so much that you can be doing. And, do you worry? Some of you still, I think so. But you're starting to see things differently. I really like this because you're changing. It's like, I want to say it's like having a bird's eye view of the universe, all right? Instead of feeling like you're sort of undecided, confused, you can turn your back on those fears. I like that a lot. So all of that unknown territory that's out there, you're finally ready. This is kind of like the jump off point for 2017, really where you begin to feel that you are moving forward and you're getting into some of that new territory. You've been trying to get there for a while, but it's been a little foggy. That Mercury shadow, Mercury retrograde, it can definitely do it for you. Okay, so the confusion, man, just like it's gone. All of a sudden, you can see, and you can see clearly what there is to work with. You can also understand the phases. And this is important. I've been trying to express this for some time. and haven't been 100% certain that everyone understands, because so many want to just wish for something, hope for something, and wake up and bam, it's there. There is a bam in here, but it's not quite like that, okay? It's more of an eye-opener for you that leads you to important decisions. I keep thinking of one of my friends at this, I think that they've listened to me, but repeatedly just yesed me. And then they're going to suddenly get it and be like, okay, that's it. I understand now. I need to move forward in order to survive. I need to change this, do that. And this is good because it's necessary for so many of you for all of this. Okay? This really feels like the week where you begin to put 2016 behind you. I'm telling you, you're going to see things are going to work out. You're going to understand that they're not going to work out in a day. And you're going to know. It's almost like you can start to feel it. Things are coming. They often take a little bit of time to get there. It might take a couple cycles of the moon, whatever, before you see it happening. I'm telling you, by June, things are much different. Okay? Keep that in mind at the solstice. You just really need to focus on all aspects right now. If there's a list, and I can't imagine anyone who doesn't have one, keep working on it. Don't focus on one thing and forget about another. Multitask. Keep your priorities straight. This is important. Now, what I find very unusual here is wishes and losses. See, it's all about what you turn your back on. And yes, there was something that was lost. But, the wish is in the so much more. And I think that you've reached a very important point in your journey. I like this because everywhere I look, I see you prepared to move forward. Not as much prepared as in preparing. There's a big difference, okay? Still with choices to be made and things to work out. Some of it needs to be done like in increments, like in bits and pieces. I'm telling you, I've been saying this for several months now. Things like that are going on at the moment, they require that you take your time, not rush all in one direction or another. Just sort of feeling your way along very, very carefully until you reach probably the solstice. But definitely after May 22nd, there is a tremendous feeling of being more carefree. I think everyone's feeling better by that point in time. Now, commitment to your beliefs. This is interesting. I think it's in most people's best interest at this point in time to be with those who see eye to eye with them, because those who are not, they are not going to change. It's just a sad thing. But, aligning yourself with those with the same beliefs allows you to stand your ground. It allows you to move forward and allows you to make effective changes. You may find yourself taking on extra responsibilities as part of this change, but the universe has your back. Those around you may not, but the universe has your back. And keep that in mind. It's very important. Now, what I see here, it just couldn't be more obvious, is that new moon. You patiently waiting, to get to this point, and voila, there you are. It brings with it some form of success. It's not that you see everything happen at this point. It's that you see that it can happen. I think it's a little more emotionally fulfilling when you have an understanding and a means to base your decisions. There's some being very, very thankful for things that have occurred, I think, in your favor. on your behalf, and some good messages coming your way. Are they messages from other people? Maybe, maybe not. But it's in you knowing is the best way I can put it. You have changed your goals compared to what they were before, and the goals are now for this totally new life that you're working on. So it is just, like when you see someone where the spring returns to their step, like they kind of been dragging, every time the universe would bring them down. This is a week where you can stand back up for a little bit. I wouldn't get really carried away, because we are going to be coming into eclipse season, which we'll be talking about in the next couple of weeks. And of course, Venus will be retrograding in March, and it hits shadow next week. So this is one of those weeks where I think I have to say, make hay while the sun shines. While you have no retrograde planets, the days that you have those two planets not in shadow, the ones that tend to really mess things up, especially with relationships, all right, then keep your focus toward initializing, getting the job done, and preparing, because what's it, January, February, March, April, yeah, things are very, very different by then, all right? Maybe not in the clear until late May, but very different. And you are working on finally, and when I say the recovery, okay, the recovery has been from kind of like the dregs of whatever was going on before. You overcame so much, but at the same time, it was like, but I'm still feeling stuck in this spot. I still have this thing hanging over my head. And this is where you start to, at this new moon, to get those details together, to take care of that one last thing. The thing that takes you away from, whether it's that karma or whatever has been going on, important decisions are being made. And I think you'll surprise yourself at what it is you're about to do at this new moon. So I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll see you here again next week. Take care.